Hey guys, welcome back to the channel Get Blessed Soon. Also, welcome to the episode number 15 of Random Interview Question Series. So, if you have no idea about this series, in this series we discuss the most important or most commonly asked interview questions. In this episode, we are going to discuss about centralized system and decentralized system and the differences between them. In case you are new to this series, let me introduce you. In this series, this is the episode number 15. We usually talk about one interview question in one episode. Here we call it random because the question we are going to discuss is random from various computer science topics like computer networks, DBMS, operating system, OOP concepts, languages, etc. So if you haven't watched the previous episodes and the previous interview questions, then make sure you watch them. Now, without any further delay, let's get to our episode. So, we are going to discuss the differences between centralized system and decentralized system. Before understanding the differences, first understand the main thing. What is a centralized system? So, centralized system is a form of organization where the decision making will be done by the top management. So, a person who is sitting like an executive or like a CEO, a topmost person will decide. Based on that, everybody else will follow the instructions. So, it is like a centered approach where it is done by one person and it is followed by all the rest of the people. When it comes to decentralization, decentralization is another form of organization structure that function is delegating decision making capabilities among different people. Like here you can see there is one department, there is other department, there is other department. There is no person sitting in the center. It's all everybody together, everybody has connection with the other team. Somehow or the other, everybody has connection with the other team. So all the departments freely discuss and then share responsibility, and then they can make the decisions. This is the basic form of centralized and decentralized. So what happens here? The information comes from the top down, who is sitting at the topmost level, from there to managers to employees. That's why we call it top down. And the employees will follow whatever the orders they get from the executive, right? Here departments communicate with each other freely. For example, there is HR department, there is IT department, there is some other hiring department, or manager department, or stakeholder department. All these things, they communicate freely, and all the managers and employees have proper communication and then share responsibility. This is what happens in decentralized. So basically, in a centralized company, employees will wait until they get information from the head. But here, what happens is employees freely go and communicate and try to put their point. Moving ahead, it is easier integration with external stakeholders. Here, because there is single point of authority, only one person is having all the power. Only one set of people are having all the power. So the stakeholders will know whom to contact, what is the point of contact, and they know how to deal with. But here it is harder to integrate or harder to implement any functions because there is no clear point of contact here. So mostly clear point of contact and uniform responses, everything will happen if it is centralized. If it is decentralized, it's a little complicated, like which department to go, what to give, what are the resources, how to implement the function. Everything gets a little tricky when compared to centralized. Moving ahead, the use of resources are efficient here as they are controlled centrally. So the point is, whatever the resources we get, it will be always based on the entire organization needs, right? So we don't want any duplicates, we don't want any wastage. So if it is centralized, we can negotiate in bulk discounts, and we'll understand which department the resources has to be sent and how much to be sent. But what happens with the decentralized is resources sometimes may be underutilized or sometimes may get duplicated across units. For example, multiple departments might buy similar tools instead of sharing and sometimes instead of knowing, which might sometimes increase the cost. That's why in resources management, centralized is better. But because everything comes from the top level, there is a person or a couple of people sitting in the top level making decisions. All the employees needs to wait for a particular amount of time, so it is little delayed. That's why centralized systems are ideal for small sized organizations, because the employees always need to wait for an approval. and which has to come from different levels, manager level to employee level to support level. There are multiple levels. From executive to employee, the decision has to pass down, which might take time, so that it is always ideal for the small sized organization. Speaking about decentralized, it is ideal for the large sized organization because it handles different operations in diversely. So let me give you an example. Here what happens? For example, if you are running a small startup with a single decision maker, it can implementation quickly. So only it's a small project, so that couple of people can handle it, right? Couple of people can make the decisions and can handle it. So this centralized approach, top most approach works. But what happens for a large sized organization, for example like a McDonald which has some multiple franchises, right? So McDonald franchise owners can adjust the menus based on the local taste. So instead of depending on the main head branch of the McDonald's, different departments where different franchises can take care of the McDonald's organization. So I hope you understood the difference here. So as I said earlier, centralized is a bit slow because it has to wait upon the executive orders. But decentralized is comparatively faster because the manager can address inventory shortages immediately without need of an head approval. So these are the basic differences between centralized and decentralized. I hope you understood. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you find this video helpful, make sure you like it, share it, and subscribe to our channel. Get placed soon. Thank you. Bye bye.